Rolling hills, grassy moorlands, spectacular river valleys, and expansive forests. Right on our doorstep, Europe's highlands are home to species that are familiar to everybody, but which are becoming increasingly rare. The people who live here value the community and tranquility. Often, they are working to preserve the unique nature and wildlife of their surroundings. For adventurers, nature lovers, and explorers, the European highlands are a paradise. The Black Mountains are situated in the southeast of Wales. They are one part of the vast natural park of the Brecon Beacons. The highest peaks in the Black Mountains are the Sugarloaf, which is just under 600 meters high, and the 800-meter Waun-Fach. The eastern part of the Black Mountains extends into England. The popular hiking region is sparsely populated and is one of the wettest areas in all of Europe. On these sharp-edged mountains, which stretch like fingers across the landscape, the humidity from the Atlantic Ocean falls to Earth once again. The powerful air currents and thermal upwinds attract birds of prey. The red kite can be spotted in the Black Mountains, whatever the season. The birds glide effortlessly thanks to the unique thermal currents, which are also appreciated by gliders. For Debbie Wilkinson, it's the perfect way to explore the region.
So smooth, you can literally fly hands off. It's absolutely beautiful. Be looking out for the birds and looking out for the red kites in particular who fly around here, and they can be a good indicator where a good thermal source is.
The members of the Black Mountains Gliding Club are all hobby glider pilots. The weather can turn quickly in the Black Mountains, so there's a detailed update every couple of hours. The direction of the wind is especially important.
The winds forecast today are 15 to 20 knots at 1,000 feet. So a good potential ridge day. So all these ridges should be working today.
I'm also planning to take Keegan in the K13, so I can give her a taste of the Black Mountains.
But you're going to leave George behind?
We're going to leave George behind though today, yes. Much to his disappointment.
So, are there any questions? No?
No, no.
Okay, right, let's go and get some flying done. Off we go.
Today, Debbie's daughter Tegan will be flying in a glider for the very first time. In contrast to many of her fellow pilots, Debbie is busily self-employed and a single parent. Despite her busy life, Debbie tries to be here as often as possible.
Check it's moving freely.
Also to get her daughter interested in the sport of gliding.
Stick forward and back, we can see the elevator moving up and down, as it should be.
All right. We'll also check the air brakes while we're here. We can see them coming out of the wings. So they're them open fully, and then if you want to close them, nice and gently, close, all the way close, keep going, keep going, keep going, push, 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 and then push it really hard, and that locks them into place. Yeah. Right, and that's the all done. Gliding is quite a technical sport. You've got to be quite engineering minded to make sure your aircraft is serviceable. And then when you're in the air, you've got to be aware of, you know, the airspace, other gliders, other aircraft that might be there and flying safely. I think it still favours, it's a male-dominated sport, I think mainly because the interest in flying and aviation and engineering, but that's not to say that girls can't do it too. And I've been flying since I was 16, so I've had a good, strong interest in it. Okay, do you want to get your parachute then?
Despite the many precautions, gliding is considered a particularly safe sport.
Okay, is that nicely sat? Yeah. Okay, and make sure that's tight. I'm going to do the same now and put my parachute on. In the event, very unlikely event of an emergency, okay, what I'll say is prepare to jump out, and what I'd need you to do then, just find where the cable, where the release handle is, and then just jump out of the glider, whichever way you want to. All right?
Mm-hmm. A bit apprehensive, because I've never done it before, but yeah, I'm excited, yeah. Things go wrong. Jumping out is a bit scary, but yeah, hopefully it'll be fine.
The small propeller plane pulls Debbie and Tegan to an altitude of 300 meters. Then, Debbie releases the tow line.
Hold down. What happens? Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
Okay.
Okay, go.
After a few bumpy moments, the plane glides through the upwinds of the Black Mountains. Living high up in these mountains are animals seldom seen by humans. Sometimes it's possible to spot some of the around 250 wild Welsh horses and ponies that live in the region. But the nature here is far from untouched. In many places, the impact of human activity has resulted in ecological disaster. In the upland moors, exposed layers of peat are causing the moors to dry out, releasing vast quantities of CO2. Today, efforts are underway to stop this process, among other things, through the use of giant nets. Sam Ridge works for the Brecon Beacons National Park and heads the peatland rescue program. Today, he is out and about on the Weinbach mountain. Only intact and moist peat is a good store of CO2. However, if the peat erodes and mixes with air, it becomes a copious source of carbon dioxide.
At the moment, we've identified areas where we've got bare peat, where we've got eroding peat, and we've got peat that's being washed away through the watercourses. And all we're doing really, primarily, our main function is to try and stabilise those areas and to try and stop that erosion and stop that continual carbon release into the atmosphere.
By damming nearby waterways, the rangers are fostering the regeneration of the peatland landscape. Elsewhere, inattentive hikers as well as sheep have created furrows in the peat. If water flows through this area, it will carry the millennia-old peat away with it.
There's a combination of things, but essentially you can see this material is all eroding away, and this was the height of the ground before the erosion started, so this would have come all the way out and filled this space, and now, you know, this is all that's been lost, and now we're starting to break through into the mineral soil underneath the peat that was deposited.
Sam is preparing a rescue operation.
Yeah, it's all part of the risk assessment for what you're going to wear. It stops my teeth getting knocked out.
The issue of damaged peat bogs is taken seriously in Wales. Sam's colleague Richard is dropped off on the mountain.
Right, plan of action. Drop some stone in these gullies. Yeah.
So yeah.
I was thinking where those drop spots are obviously good locations to put them in.
Yeah.
And then, as I say, yeah.
Today, the rangers will disperse 40 tons of stones across the mountain. The helicopter is only carrying them over the final stretch from the end of the road to the mountaintop.
I'll start to push the water sideways a little bit as well. It is very labour intensive, and different aspects of the work are much more labour intensive than others. I mean, it's the nature of where we're working. We're in a very remote place.
The rangers hope that the new barrages will slow the flow of water down the mountain. For the Welsh Government, Sam's project is a small but vital component of efforts to combat climate change. In the coming years, the total area of rehabilitated peatland is expected to triple. The Black Mountains are extremely popular, and not just for hikers. The highly destructive sport of mountain biking is now banned in the mountains. But adrenaline junkies can still get their kicks at the dirt farm. The Binns family farm is situated on a steep slope, making farming a challenge. Today, only a few sheep remain. Farmer Joe Binns has discontinued many of his former sheep pastures and planted trees in their place. Now, a series of mountain bike trails are being constructed on the former farmland. Before the park opens today, master builder Gary Broad and track designer Sean Bevan are hoping to complete a new section in time.
It's still both. The sheep are still here, and he's still farming.
But the beauty of it is, all the land we want is the stuff he doesn't want. All the woodland, because it's nice to get some trails in here and out the trees.
Beneath the cultivated woodlands, it's possible to make out the Black Mountains' red soil.
It's the red clay, the red dirt of the Black Mountains. Yeah. Should be called the Red Mountains, shouldn't it? But I don't know.
Former teacher Gwenda and farmer Joe Binns first had the idea for the dirt farm 9 years ago.
Morning. Hi. How are you? Great. Right, we've got about 85 in this morning. Okay. So, yeah, lots of people out there. They've been chomping at the bit, waiting for you to come.
I've been waiting and arrive.
We've thought fast and hard about this. We live in a really fantastic village, and we've been here for 40 years. And this is a big thing for the village as well, because we live in the national park. So deep down, we decided that, really, and honestly, we wanted to keep things local as we possibly could.
The dirt farm has created jobs for the local community. The dirt farm also organises a ladies' day to help make the sport more popular with women.
So you did jumps?
Yeah.
You got some air?
She got some air.
Okay, see you later.
See you later.
Bye. Have fun.
We will.
It's nice that someone drives you up the hill. Makes life a bit easier.
It's like a giant roller coaster.
Yeah. And the people that run it are lovely as well, so, yeah.
Gary and Sean are concerned about an extremely exposed section of the track. Here, the red, clay-rich earth of the Black Mountains is becoming brittle.
There's not really much moisture in the ground. Kind of like talcum powder, do you know what I mean? It needs water to bond. Yeah, like a cake.
Before Sean and Gary can open the route for the riders, they want to give it a final test run.
Oh, this is the fun bit. Yeah. Nice guy, enjoyed that.
Yeah, I fucking really enjoy that bit now.
Today, the dirt farm is being ridden by 85 female riders from all over Great Britain.
It's a very male-dominated sport. My aim was attract more girls here, to attract ladies, mums and daughters and friends, and this is what's happened. So it's been one of my ticket off this year, so it's great. It really is great.
Pridey Tiernan is an English teacher, but she's better known as a storyteller, gatherer and collector, and a keeper of old traditions.
Oh my goodness. Ow. Look at this tree. We haven't been up this. Okay. Yes. Oh my goodness. Why shouldn't you fall asleep, girls, under the hawthorn tree?
The fairies will take you.
If you were spiked by hawthorn, you would often, in a time before antibiotics, run the risk of developing sepsis, which then could kill you. So it would make sense that the folk tales and the folklore would be associated with something like being stolen, because these trees did have the power over life and death in that sense. So in a way, you're kind of joining the dots and understanding why certain folklore would be associated with certain things.
What if I lift you up slightly?
Hedgerows are a prominent geographical feature of the Black Mountains. Pridey is gathering hawthorn and elderberries.
It's not just a hedge, it's a larder, it's a medicine cupboard. There's so many things here. And not forgetting that every plant has in it, you know, a minimum of 80 different chemicals. These things are complex.
You can lift that up. See?
Pridey wants to make a tincture from the elderberries and fruit, as well as fruit leather snacks for her daughters. The natural sweeteners and vitamins have to be teased out of the berries.
And that's exactly what people used to eat when they didn't have gummy bears and Haribo and all the different sweeties that we eat now. But if you're wanting to sustain the family on fruit leather alone, then you would be sitting there for a very long time, because it takes so long to prepare the haw-berries, squashing all the seeds out of them.
Could just do blackberry.
You could just make fruit leather out of blackberries, that's true. So it depends what fruit you choose. Try and keep as much in there as you possibly can.
Cooking is a good way of delving into the mythological world of the Black Mountains.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the lady with the white dress and the yellow flower?
No.
If she did come and she did give you the yellow flower, what would you wish for?
More puppies.
Okay. Turn that one down. That's good. Now you ready with this?
Mm-hmm.
Be really careful, so we'll do it together. You got it?
The juice from the hedgerow is full of vitamin C.
Good girl, well done.
In earlier times, it helped the people of the Black Mountains to make it through the darkest days of the year.
It's what those people who all that time ago were accused of being witches were being accused of being witches for. Essentially making medicine from the hedgerow. So it wasn't a bad thing, it was a good thing. And stuff like this is knowledge that's lost and needs to come back, because this medicine here has cost me nothing. Okay, here we go. Who's going to try eating some of this then? Is that nice?
Wales is one of the wettest regions in Europe. It rains particularly often in the mountains. The Welsh Highlands are frequently shrouded in fog and mist. The weather is generally unpredictable. In September, the conditions can change within a matter of minutes. Phil Morgan is a volunteer county mammal recorder, a chronicler of the wildlife of the Black Mountains. His job is to count the animals that he sees, and from this to estimate the numbers across the region. Today, he's on an excursion with a group of fellow volunteers. In this old train tunnel, Phil is hoping to see a rare species of bat.
I have a few things to explain before we go into the tunnel. First of all, we have to be quite quiet, because any noises we make, the bats will hear. And try not to use the words with S in it, because S has a lot of white noise, which they hear instantly. Okay, just need to give it a little. Okay.
The tunnel is a relic of a railway line that ran through the Black Mountains over 200 years ago. Today, the trains are gone and only bats are passing through.
So here we have a lesser horseshoe bat. And these animals, they wrap their wings around them so that you can't actually see very much of them. But as you can see, they have very long legs. And most bats don't have legs this long. And they like these brackets for some reason, but it's dry beneath. And actually there's a lesser horseshoe flying around in here, I can hear it. we have detection equipment, and it makes this delightful little sort of whistling noise. Well, this bat has been one where the legislation has worked. 40 years ago, there were very, very few of these, maybe 700 or 800 in the area. And now we think that maybe the local population is pushing close to 11,000, 12,000 animals. And it's because the places that they live, the roosts, they have been protected. And the legislation here has worked.
The data that Phil gathers on the bats will go into a giant database. In turn, this will help in the creation of new nature protection laws in Wales.
Can you tell how old it is?
Not that easily to do, I'm afraid. It's a male, and yeah, the fur coloration is quite brown. Youngsters tend to be a bit grey, but yeah, this is typical adult fur coloration. But after the first winter, the fur has changed. So
I just find them quite fascinating. They're, you know, lovely little animals that we have in our environment, and you don't really get to see them unless you go looking for them. And yeah,
there's nothing else quite like them, really. Just have they're so delicate little hands, we just let them fly, and it's incredible.
it's got used to being with me now. Oh.
The Brecon Beacons National Park is a popular recreation region for the people of Great Britain. It is about 1 hour from Birmingham, Cardiff and Bristol. Llangorse Lake is on the western edge of the Black Mountains. Colin Preece has lived here for over 40 years. Today, the lake is polluted with nitrate. Local conventional farming is to blame.
This is a jewel in the crown, really, but we need to keep it that way. There's a huge populace in the area who are very caring of the lake and are worried on times about the situation on the lake, because we do, during summer periods, get algae blooms on the far bank.
The algae threatens to suffocate the lake as it causes oxygen levels to decrease dramatically. This impacts not only other plants, but also fish stocks. A solution could lie in the introduction of beavers. These animals can make an important contribution to water quality. There are only around 400 beavers remaining in Great Britain. In Wales, it is not permitted to release new beavers into the wild. To change this state of affairs, Colin is trying something new. Where these three fields meet, he has turned a wasteland into a biotope. And it's where Colin is breeding his beavers. Cardiff University student Alex Griffiths undertakes regular inspections of the biotope. For the past 9 years, the beavers have been felling trees and building dams and configuring the biotope to meet their own needs.
So if you want to get a bit of water in that, and then I'll put that on the side. What I'll do is just go through, just disturb some of this and see if anything comes out of the sediment.
So what are you looking for now?
So what we're doing here is just collecting a sample for what I'd like to call above beaver dam habitat. So we'll just see now, after disturbing this, what we get in the net in terms of little invertebrates.
Yep.
Turn that upside down. Give it a bit of a shake in there. So there we have freshwater shrimp, just came to the surface very briefly.
Because the freshwater shrimp are here, it does show that it's a good, clean
Yes,
area.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, so freshwater shrimp are a really good
You can see
sign.
them
Just coming up,
yeah,
just coming up and down from the surface.
The pond is teeming with life once again. Since the beavers dammed the inlet, the water quality has increased.
Yeah, it's been shown in quite a few papers now that beavers will naturally filter out the nitrates, so nitrate levels have been lower further down the catchment, so as the dams progress down, you have less nitrates and phosphates, which is obviously great. That's what you want to be seeing, that natural filtration. Nice one.
So in that sample, you could get many hundred items, or...
But yeah, you can get upwards of hundreds of macroinvertebrates.
But in total, how many families are there?
So on this site, we've had 36 families,
yeah.
different families.
Thanks to the results of the study, the legal environment could soon also change. Maybe then, Colin will be able to release his beavers into the large mountain lake.
As an environmentalist and ecologist, it's just amazing to see how much impact they have, and a positive impact as well. It's really promising, especially in an age where so much is going wrong and nature really needs us. Beavers are there, so.
Before Alex sets off on his return journey to Cardiff, he wants to capture a glimpse of the shy beavers. For some years, the Black Mountains have been designated as one of the international dark sky reserves. Light pollution is low in the region, making it possible to peer deep into the universe. Nighttime is the waking hours for many of the animals that live in the Black Mountains. Badgers are particularly active during the night. Because they can carry bovine tuberculosis, they currently have something of an image problem. Morning in the Black Mountains. The valleys are still shrouded in mist, and the mountains appear more mystical than ever. The lush meadows are well suited for livestock farming. Agriculture is an important part of the local economy. The day also starts early at the Dirt Farm Mountain Bike Park. Farmer Joe Binns is meeting with vet Keith Powell. The business of the day, badger vaccination.
Oh, there's another one just here in the wood.
Oh, is there?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So what was it? There was one.
One at the far end, yeah.
Maybe it's been a good year for them this year.
Dairy farmers in particular blame badgers for transmitting bovine tuberculosis to their cows. The bacterium is then passed on in the milk and meat of infected animals.
Badgers and cattle very much share the same environment, same habitat. They come into contact a lot with each other. And it's a circle, you know, the badgers catch it off the cattle and the cattle catch it off the badgers. So, yeah, we're just trying to keep on top of it.
So they can be released again as quickly as possible, the badgers are vaccinated in the early hours of the morning.
Badgers are actually white. It's just the tips of their guard hairs that are black. So if I just cut a little bit off the tip of the guard here, we get a white spot. This is the bit they don't like. So that's just a normal animal marking spray which will wear off in a few days. But it's just, because I trap again tonight for tomorrow morning, I can see instantly if I've done him.
About 600 badgers live in the Black Mountains. The veterinarians need to vaccinate 60% of these to achieve herd immunity to bovine tuberculosis.
Yeah, it's a big problem for the farming industry. It's very expensive for the taxpayer. Culling badgers is very unpopular with the public because they're quite iconic of the British countryside. So the vaccination seems to be, there's no way you can really rationally argue against it. It's a sensible solution. That's it, you can go.
Now it's time to set the traps for the next day.
First of all, we have to teach the badgers to love peanuts. So obviously this is a novel food source for badgers in Wales. But peanuts are like crack cocaine. They love peanuts. They'll do anything for a peanut. And like all wild animals, it's about fear and greed. So you tempt them on, and it takes about a week. So what we do is we put a handful of peanuts in a hole in the ground.
So a big rock to keep the mice out from there, because all wildlife seems to like peanuts.
So only the badger's strong enough to move a stone like that. And then gradually, over a few days, we move, once the badgers found that they love peanuts, we move the stone into the trap. So they get used to being inside the trap. And we do that for 5 or 6 days until the badger's happy to be in the back of the trap. And then we actually trap them. So it's a bit of a process, but it's to get that catch rate up so we achieve that herd immunity. So, right. Next one, Joe.
Okay.
Veterinarian Keith regularly visits his cows, which live on his parents' farm. A remote corner of the farm is now the site of an experiment. Using apparatus that he constructed himself, Keith is making biochar.
You can use food waste. You can use eggshells, you can use sheep's wool, you can use an apple. In fact, we'll try an apple today. You could, for the ultimate eco-funeral, you could have your body biochard, really. But you'd have to try it out first. Not quite sure how you do that. Hello, gorgeous. Ha.
When regular compost rots away, the stored carbon is released into the atmosphere in the form of CO2 and is eventually reabsorbed by plants.
And that's called short-term carbon cycle, because it only takes, say, a couple of 100 years. Long-term carbon cycle is when exactly the same thing happens, but it turns into oil. And that's out of the atmosphere for millions of years. So what we're doing with this is we're taking the short-term carbon cycle, so we're using photosynthesis to capture the carbon, but instead of letting it go back into the atmosphere, we're turning it into effectively oil, but it's biochar. We sketched it out on the back of a fag packet in the pub and kind of went from there, really.
Using Keith's apparatus, the waste is broken down. But here, all of the components burn away, leaving only the pure carbon skeleton.
White smoke's good.
Just beyond the farm on Brynarol Mountain, Keith has started another experiment. These unused hilltops, now overgrown with fern, are set for reforestation. Taweto Ddail Afrin, there will be leaves on the mountain once again. Keith created the Stump Up for Trees project together with a friend. They are assisted by almost 200 volunteers. Throughout, the biochar apparatus has an important role to play. The pure carbon will foster the growth of the young trees. Right now, however, the biochar is still bone dry.
Biochar is an empty sponge. So before we put it into our super duper compost, which will grow bionic trees, we want to fill that sponge up.
First, Keith has to activate the charcoal. A biochemical reaction then turns it into an exceptional plant fertilizer.
Try not to run over anybody or any flower, any trees, all right? Just suggesting.
In a corner of the forest, Keith is collecting acorns, which will later become new trees. The Stump Up for Trees project also operates its own tree nursery. Virginia Cajun Gonzalez from Spain is one of the 200 volunteers working on the ambitious project.
I really like the idea of planting trees, as many other people do, but I also thought, well, it's actually, I can actually apply my knowledge to. And yeah, it's, you know, who doesn't like planting trees and helping the environment? Do you want a ticket?
No, you're a professional.
A professional wheelbarrow mover.
In her day job, Virginia works at a biotech company specializing in vertical vegetable farming. With her expertise, she's quickly risen to become the head of horticulture for the reforestation project.
Hello, boys. Welcome to Virginia's parlour. Right, so what we need to do, we just need to put a bit of soil there, and then we'll just put the acorn and just top up with some soil.
Okay. Double handfuls, come on, and get them so they're about half full. Don't miss any.
A lot of things I've probably forgotten with the years because I did study, you know, forestry, horticulture, I don't know now how long ago, 10 years ago. And yeah, my career has drifted more into ornamentals and everything, but this is giving me the chance like, oh yeah, trees. I think I know a little bit about this. So trees was definitely my first love, you could say.
The homemade super fertilizer is being put to use. A premiere of a new invention from the hobby climate defenders.
I already consider myself in, you know, the generation that really should have fixed this in a way, you know, all the current climate problems. So it's for the kids. It's for the kids. But this is quite nice. Yeah.
The Black Mountains were formed during the last ice age 20,000 years ago, when the glaciers moved from north to south, creating the characteristic long valleys. Llangachtuk Mountain. Until 100 years ago, this was the site of a stone quarry. Along its edge, it's possible to gain a deeper insight into the character and makeup of the mountains. Out of sight, they are permeated by one of the longest cave systems in all of Europe. Today, Gwenda Binns from the Dirt Farm is meeting track designer Sean for a cave tour, together with former pupil Kerry Crosfield and geologist Wissy Bremley.
So the cave we're going in today is made from limestone, and limestone was laid down as a soft mud in a very warm tropical sea. Because it was so warm, it was full of life. And if we look on here, almost looks like branches, twigs.
Oh, right,
and
yeah.
these are worm casts of the shells that lived on the mud on the seabed.
Oh.
So this has been, the rock's cracked, frost or snow has cracked this open, exposed all this. So this was a seabed about 350, 320 million years ago. But these beds of limestone have just piled up on top of one another and created these beds of limestone. So each one of these lines, these bedding planes across there, has been a seabed at some particular time.
All good to go.
Ready to go.
Ready to go.
Okay, ready to go.
Oh, yeah,
This cave system is almost 27 kilometers long. A total of 9 caves wind through Llangachtok Mountain. They were created by the meltwater that ran off the glaciers. Over long periods of time, the masses of water of these underground rivers eroded away the rock.
They used to hold a ritual here. Whooping cough was a particularly bad illness, and the people around this place believed that this cave system had healing properties. So they would bring in their children with whooping cough, and they would swing them by the ankles, okay? And they believed that by swinging them by the ankles, the evil that was attached to the child, the whooping cough, would be released and trapped in the cave, and that the healing of the cave would cure them.
Okay, so if we follow her, we'll take you to the back of the chamber. So rush now, so we don't want you here in the sun. There you go. There you go.
The cave also holds a secret for the mountain bikers. Not much remains of the masses of water that created the caves. However, next to this rivulet, it's possible to see how the abrasions of the stones has created a very special kind of clay.
So this mud comes from old red sandstone. This is the type of clay and mud that you need to build your mountain bike courses from.
Good stuff.
There's passages that are still being found, and these passages have never ever been walked by anybody else. So we're going back in time, you know, this is history, and this is something that man has not explored. I want to see more, I want to go and I want to squeeze down that tight little passage because I want to know what's at the end of that, and not many people do that, so I just think it's fantastic.
We've got your bag here. Yeah, with you.
The Stump Up for Trees project has already planted 135,000 trees. In the future, they will serve as stores of CO2 and make their own contribution to Britain's efforts towards climate neutrality. At this time, the majority of the Black Mountains is densely covered with fern. It wasn't always so. Bracken made its first appearance when the forests were cleared by humans around 3,000 years ago. This superweed has existed since prehistoric times and is exceptionally resistant and adaptive.
Let's do a bit of bracken bashing again in here, and you pretty much know how it goes. So the trees in here are good. So Keith, as you can see, he's mowed between the rows of trees, And what we're going to do now is just clear the bracken around the trees.
Let's do this then.
This stuff. It's the enemy of trees. The old adage is trees hate bracken, but bracken hates trees. So when we get the trees to this height, they start to dominate the bracken and they will shade it out and you have a wood. But until that point, we need to give the trees a hand. Okay, it is a bit nuts planting trees in bracken, right? Because, you know, you really, to make sure that they have the best chance of getting away, you have to come here on, you know, wet days in autumn and walk up and down with a stick and knock the bracken back. It feels like a form of madness. Or penal work, I don't know. But it is, if you really want to restore these bracken-covered upland landscapes in Wales, this is, I think, probably the best way.
Together with Keith, Virginia is replanting quite a few of the trees.
There you go, Virginia.
Thank you. Wonderful.
How are they
Right.
looking?
Well, I think maybe we can just... Well, a small gap here.
I love watching other people work.
Just push it down, Yes, move it. Jiggle it, jiggle it.
The rule is you want to get it just above that compost, and you just, good luck. Because we've given it the best start we can, but now it's down to a bit of luck and maybe some good weather.
There you go.
Even if the trees are yet to grow, if the mountains are modest and the valleys not so deep, these highlands offer a unique habitat for humans and animals alike.